For most people in her Menlo Park neighborhood, 84-year-old Jean Harman is known as the lady with 6 grandchildren and the kind of woman who likes to garden in her backyard. However, 64 years ago, during the height of World War II, when there was a shortage of male pilots, the 20-year-old Jean Downey, as she was known at the time, was among a small group of resolute and intrepid ladies that would join the Women's Air Force Service pilots. That's right, Grandma was a W.A.S.P. In an era when many women didn't even drive cars, Downey's office was an AT-6 Texan military trainer, powered by a Pratt & Whitney 650 horsepower radial engine. Designed by American Aviation, the aircraft was used by the United States Army Air Corps and the U.S. Navy to train fighter pilots. Jean Downey first took to the skies when she was just 7 years old in an old Jenny biplane after visiting her uncle in Southern California.
I hung out at the Douglas Aircraft Airfield in West Los Angeles, I guess it is now. And somebody decided it'd be fun to take me up, and I got my aunt and uncle's permission, and up I went. And that set it off for me. I knew then what I wanted to do.
Growing up in the 1930s, the young girl had a number of heroes who were aviators. The one who truly captured her imagination was First Lady of the Skies, Amelia Earhart.
Well, she was a famous woman pilot, and I didn't meet her, but I was in a group that was near her, and also Lindbergh and Wiley Post. I saw all the famous pilots of that era. It was fun.
With memories of those aviation heroes still on her mind, the young Miss Downey graduated from high school when she was just 16 and enrolled in the College of Pacific in Stockton, California.
Well, they had a program called Civilian Pilot Training, and they offered both ground school and flight training, but World War II began. December 7th happened when I just arrived at school, so the flying went to Nevada. And the college did not. So I took all the ground school and then later went to Nevada myself and did the flying.
As the war raged on in Europe and the Pacific, the need for pilots became acute. American planes filled the skies of North Africa, France, Germany, and into the South Pacific. The women Air Force Service pilots played a vital role by ferrying aircraft from factories to air bases throughout the U.S. Largely the creation of noted 1930s aviatrix Jacqueline Cochran and test pilot Nancy Harkness Love, the ladies were civilian female pilots that began operations in September 1942. The W.A.S.Ps would go on to fly military aircraft under the direction of General Hap Arnold and the United States Army Air Corps. Cochran was the driving force from the very beginning, and she stressed that the women would undergo the same training that the male pilots received. The women already held pilots' licenses, but they were taught the military way to fly at Avenger Field in Sweetwater, Texas. Eventually, thousands of women would go through the training, and they freed up male pilots to fly combat missions. Jean Downey received her orders in 1944, and just like all the other flight candidates, she paid her own way to Sweetwater, Texas.
It was all aviation. We were very military. We marched to the flight line and we saluted and we said, "Yes, sir." And we bonded immediately and we're all good friends to this day. We were quite diverse. One of my friends has a PhD in physics. Others became doctors. Others just became housewives. We were a diverse group, but we all loved to fly.
The W.A.S.Ps would go on to log countless hours in the air, flying virtually everything from high-performance P-51 Mustang fighter planes to heavy bombers including B-17s and B-29s. However, there is always a risk of danger in flying military aircraft, and of the more than 1,800 women who went through the program, 38 were killed in the service of their country.
I lost one of my roommates. She got lost and made a forced landing and bumped her head. And I might add that we had to take a collection to ship her body home, and her family paid for the funeral. The government did not.
As the war began winding down and male pilots started to return to the States from combat, the W.A.S.Ps were disbanded. Once again, they would pay for their own way home, and it would be years before they received the credit that they had earned. Nevertheless, their contributions to this country's war effort and to aviation were profound.
I think mainly women should know they can be anything they want to be, and that there are no doors closed. There are women going up in space. There are women doing fantastic things in medicine. I don't think there are any doors closed anymore except fatherhood.
Jean Harman's garden in Menlo Park is a small oasis of snapdragons, daisies, and roses. Most of her neighbors would say she is a quiet and well-grounded grandmother. However, there was a time when young Jean Downey could reach out and almost touch the clouds.